we're going to head on out to the labs here. Right now, it's on Wednesdays. We don't have a whole lot of students here on lunchtime on this, but Ryan, just why don't you tell them what are you doing right now?
So right now I'm actually in a 250s, which is an EVAP class or emissions class. I'm currently working on the EVAP system of a Buick LeSabre of 2000. So we actually, instead of doing lab sheets, we're doing videos, which are awesome. Beginning of the day or beginning of Monday, my lab partner and I tested it. We actually filled the system. We had a large leak causing us not to build enough vacuum in the fuel tank to actually test to see if we have a small leak. Smoke tested the system. We couldn't find any leaks. We manually, or using a scan tool, we controlled the vent to atmosphere. That was working fine. We tested the purge valve. That was working fine. We actually were able to verify that the fuel tank pressure sensor was working. So then I took a vacuum gauge and started from manifold vacuum and went all the way down that EVAP line and had vacuum all the way down to the canister and found that we actually have a clog in the canister causing us not to create vacuum in the tank. So even though it said it had a leak, it's actually because we had a clog in the canister, not creating vacuum. And that's all we did this week. And literally on Friday or 2 days from now, I will be publishing a video on YouTube about what we did and going over that with class with our peers. And peers, there's 5 other lab partners, so they also will have videos of different things in emissions that we get to watch and talk about and learn from each other's mistakes and how we diagnose different problems.
Okay. All right, we're going to head on down the hallway here. But to give you a rough idea, this facility, imagine about 4 to 6 football fields underneath one roof. And that's SIU Automotive. This main hallway that we're in, it's a little over 2.5 football fields in length. So it takes us a little bit to get from one end of the building to the other here. But as we go around, you're going to see a variety of cars throughout the facility. You'll see, let's see, what do we got here? We've got a Fiat 500. I know there was a Nissan GTR just behind me, just a little bit. But we got a Fiat 500 sitting up there. We've got a new Corvette here as well. Got the sun coming up in the window, so it's a little dark, hard to see there a little bit. Okay, let's head on down. We're going to go into one of our test cells. Ryan, you want to take my key on that? We're going to go into that back classroom. But we're going to head on back here. Go ahead and open up that door there. Okay, we're coming on into this room. Turn some lights on here, but actually we're going to start over here in one of our test cells. This is what we've got going on in here. This is our all-wheel drive chassis dynamometer. And our students are right now with this engine. This is an experimental internal combustion engine. Our students took a 4-cylinder engine. It's got 4 valves per cylinder. And if you guys in engines class, you learned about engines, you learned about intake valves and exhaust valves. Well, this engine, we took one of the intake valves and we turned it into where it's an intake valve at times and it's an exhaust valve at other times. So it's a whole new theory of an operation of an internal combustion engine. So our students have designed this, put it all together, manufactured the camshafts and everything. And then we take that vehicle and you can see there's a set of front rollers, there's a set of rear rollers. We got the vehicle strapped down and we actually run our test on this. And so with this running and operating, we actually gather up with our data acquisition system. You can see all the cabling and all the stuff connected between the vehicle and all of our computer systems. We measure the exhaust, we measure the fuel efficiency, and all that stuff gets put into our computers that we have. These are our data acquisition systems, and these data acquisition systems, this is where we crunch all the numbers and all the sensors and all the information coming in. Also with this, This is our 5-gas analysis system. Our 5-gas analysis system, this is where we get to analyze all the exhaust gases. Then in this particular cell, this is our engine dynamometer test cell. So if you guys watch like horsepower TV, stuff like that, and you see, wow, they ran that engine on a dynamometer, that's probably about a $40,000 engine dynamometer. What you're looking at in here is roughly about $1.5 million. This is research grade equipment. This is what the manufacturers actually use to test their engines and their vehicles to certify. When you buy a new vehicle and it says this engine will get this fuel economy, that's what this does, this machine. And so this dynamometer here actually can drive the engine or load the engine. There is a V8 engine. See if I can come over here. There is a V8 engine down underneath all of this stuff. And you can see all the cabling, all the wiring and everything coming in that we're capturing and measuring. It's a General Motors LS engine. It looks like they got tucked down in there, but with all the sensors and all this wiring and stuff. And then back over here, this is our fuel conditioning and fuel measurement cabinet. This is what actually tells us what the fuel economy, how much fuel that we actually burned in that engine. So we're going to head on over into one of our larger labs. We have, in fact, I can see what's going on here. This particular area right here, you can see the classes are working on electric propulsion systems. So these are some of your electric motors that you're going to find in like your Nissan Leafs and so forth that our students are doing testing on here in class. So our electric propulsion systems. Out here, we get in this area, this area we're going to get more into, again, our advanced propulsion systems. Advanced propulsion systems can occur with semi-trucks. They can be occurring with like Nissan Leafs that we've got. And you'll even see in here as well too, our students will get involved in even building our own, like here's an electric PT Cruiser our students designed up. And so you would see electric air conditioning. It's got electric heat, electric power steering. They actually have a solar panel up on the top. They never really made a PT Cruiser electric, but we did here at SIU. And then we get inside, we can actually see the battery packs that the students have designed in here. And so you may be working on a large semi-truck. You may be working on a research test vehicle like this Ford Fusion test vehicle that students are working on right now. Or we have here's a Prius students are working with. Large semi-trucks. You want to learn welding and fabrication? We have a welding and fabrication area as well. And let's go on by over here and we'll see what some students are doing. Got some students running some experiments here. What are you guys doing on this truck? What year truck is this?
This is a 2019 Chevy Silverado 1500 turbo diesel. And we are currently putting metal shavings in the wheel speed sensor to see how the truck reacts to it.
Metal shavings in a wheel speed sensor on purpose, huh?
On purpose.
And why are you doing that again?
We are testing the wheel speed sensor and how it's going to react and comparing it to the passenger side wheel speed sensor signal.
Okay, so you're analyzing the wheel speed sensor signals on that and taking a brand new truck and your guys are putting problems in it. Way to go. Do you do that in your class too, Ryan, a little bit? Put problems in vehicles?
Yeah, we started bugging stuff like that once we get past like secret codes and changing different circumstances to see what would set a code. So
Okay.
you see those codes, you know what to do.
Awesome. Okay. You also see a lot of toolboxes around here. Toolboxes, these are students' tools. You will need tools while you're here in the program. All of our students we do have discounts set up with various different tool manufacturers. We actually have an in-house Robert Bosch Automotive Parts Center and our automotive parts center. In here, this is where our students want to get t-shirts. We got a variety of different t-shirts that our student groups, like here's some t-shirts on the Nova, that team sells. We also have some mugs they sell. We have some intake, compression, power exhaust t-shirts. Our off-road club's got some t-shirts, but it's also the parts, supplies, and stuff going on. Let's see who we got working here today. Yep.
Hello.
And tell us your name and what are you doing in the automotive program?
I am Allie Moore, and I am studying automotive program.
Okay.
Hello.
All right. And where are you from, Allie?
I'm from Northern Illinois,
What city?
DeKalb.
Okay. Okay. And so Ryan, where are you from? I didn't ask, what town are you from?
Arlington Heights.
Arlington Heights. Okay. Awesome. All right. Thank you. We're going to keep going on our tour here. Keep going through. Head on into another larger lab. In fact, we'll probably start in this classroom, Ryan's classroom. Yeah, and so we'll just jump into here real quick. And right now the class is on lunch break, so they're not here right now. But as you can see, we are in person. Our students are here in class. We spaced everything out. Where do you sit at, Ryan?
Right here. So everybody gets like one desk. Not too bad. I sit right here. We sanitize every day, which is nice, and we do what we can to stay in class. So knock on wood, we've been here all semester working on cars.
Awesome. Okay. And then what do you do with these cars here in the classroom?
So I actually have not worked on this Buick, but these are cars that our students actually have worked on. So we have a picoscope hooked up here. We also have several picoscopes throughout the lab. I know Van has probably showed a couple of you guys how to use a picoscope a little bit. But yeah, so right now we're in emissions. The last class, which same teacher, same lab, we were doing all the sensors on an engine. So crank position, MAF, coolant, all those different types of things, hooking picoscopes up to them, learning how they actually work so you get a better understanding.
Okay. So we got a couple new vehicles right here in the classroom as well. Then we come on out here into the lab. We got a whole bunch of more vehicles. And so the vehicles are ranging everywhere from, see, there's a new GMC Denali. I think that's a 2020 GMC Denali we just recently got in, to some Buicks and Toyotas and Fords and you name it. We have over 140 training vehicles that our students work with here. And so variety of test opportunities from Mitsubishi's, there's a Nissan, few other vehicles, and as you can see, a lot of different opportunities. We're going to jump over into this lab right here, and well, there's a brand new Subaru Ascent. There's a Buick Enclave. There's a Avalon, Toyota. But over here, this is where our students are going to get into more of the electronics that are on the body and chassis of the vehicle. So I can see out here, this is actually an occupant classification system for an airbag. And so this is actually out of a Honda, and we can sense what is sitting in this seat for the airbag system. So we know what airbags to deploy, at what pressure we want to deploy them. But the students will be working on lighting systems, speed control systems. They're working on audio systems right now, I can see as well too here in the class. Power windows, power door locks, and all the bells and whistles that you'll have on your doors and your instrument clusters. Gauges and digital dashes students will work with. So we'll head on back out over here and we'll go to another lab. In fact, I know we just got in as well too a Subaru WRX vehicle our students are working on down there. We'll head on into another lab. Again, more toolboxes for students to be playing with. We'll head on down here and see what's going on. We've got another classroom over here, and similar to what we saw, but this classroom, they are working on, looks like manual drivetrains and transmissions. I'm gonna get the light switch turned on here for us. so we can see. But they're working on a variety of different systems here as well. Out here in this lab, this is where they're going to be working on more of the undercar stuff. So engines, transmissions, be also your brake, steering, suspension alignments. So there's another Nissan. Looks like here's a Chevy Cruze. Looks like the students have been doing some noise, vibration, harshness testing on it. Let's head over into this lab. This lab over here, this is our transmission lab. And so over here, looks like students have got the transmission. They're getting set up onto our transmission dynamometer and actually running it and operating it and testing it and getting all the pressures and the readings, make sure that it has all the forward gears. Looks like some students are working on a rear axle right there, working on another rear axle here as well on this, but then you'll also see a wide variety of different automatic transmissions our students will utilize. Vehicles up in the air, lifts, test equipment. Wherever you go, you'll find a lot of different equipment. We'll head on over and we'll go to another section here as well, but again, some more vehicles, some Fords, from GMs. There's another Ford, there's a Chevrolet, another GM. We're gonna head over to our engine lab and our air conditioning lab. We got an air conditioning class going on in it right now. But our engine lab, we have probably about 200 different engines that our students have options to go through and look at. So students here, you'll actually have an engine, and students will actually go through and disassemble one of these. Did you disassemble?
Yeah, so actually, my class was the first class to disassemble the fence. So I mean, as you see it now, guys, we completely like followed protocol, but like wiring diagram or wiring harness and everything completely stripped it down to a bare block, and learned how to take all these different measurements. And then I was able to still rebuild it, and our class was to rebuild it and see where it's at right now. But that was really cool. Like this whole engine we tore apart. It was awesome.
And what engine is this? Remember?
Oh, it's a Nissan. I forgot what year it is, because it's kind of interesting. We don't have sleeves on it. There's different coatings. The variable valve timing on this was really interesting. Is it 19?
Yeah, this is a brand new, 2019 engines that students are going through. So not only are you learning the older technology, you will be learning the latest and greatest technology while you're here at SIU as well too. So also in this class area as well, you can see we've got another classrooms here right in here with the engines, with the stuff as well. But here in class, we actually have a couple other tools and equipment that you'll see. This is what's called a flow bench. A flow bench is where you're going to actually be able to measure the flow of air going through a intake manifold, an exhaust manifold, or something like that if you wanted to calculate that. And then we actually have a camshaft profiler. And so what this does, this actually has an electric motor that spins this camshaft and will actually profile each of those lobes and put it then into our computer system that we have. So we're headed back out into this main hallway, and you'll see a wide variety of different stuff here all the time, but looks like this is the new Ford SVT high performance engine that they have. And of course, everybody's got to love a Viper engine. So we got that hanging out here as well too. But here we are again in this main hallway. And we'll start heading on back to that office that we were in. But not sure what the weather's like up there in Chicago right now, but boy, it is sunny here in Southern Illinois. I always say it's sunny and 70 degrees.
It's always 10 degrees warmer down here. It's nice.
Okay. So what have you been doing outside of class, Ryan?
Outside of class, sadly, ATO has been canceled, so we've been doing a lot of things at the house. Everybody's been working on projects in the house, different cars. I don't know if any of you guys know about my Miata. That's been a headache and a joy at the same time, but we try to stay productive. There's a bunch of different hiking and things like that outside. So I'm always driving out to Giant City, going hiking. Beautiful places to drive out here. It's nothing like the suburbs. It's 5 minutes away and you're on a beautiful road. It's great.
Okay. And Nissan GTR course in the hallway. Everybody's got to love a Nissan GTR, right? Okay. We'll head on back here into the office real quick. But all of your instructors, if you need to get a hold of your instructors, we're right here in the office, so your academic advisors right here as well. But we're going to head on back here into the office.